Morning, family. This is Jack from In Search of Purpose today. And today I really want to cover a couple of quick bases. This video is about where you're going in your life and kind of taking stock of where you are at the moment. So we're going to cover three main topics. And the first being your physical, the second being your mental place, and your third being your spiritual. So we're going to cover a few things in this video. In my journey, as far as the physical is concerned, what I want you to focus on or to think about just for a second is, what are you doing physically? What are you doing to be able to improve your physical condition? Do you exercise? Do you walk? Do you bike? Do you swim? What do you do? What is it that's taking yourself up just a little bit, a bit of a stretch? And I'm not suggesting just stretching, but I've been a fitness professional for most of my life. I started at 19. And helping people to achieve their fitness goals was a major concern for me. Because I actually thought about whether I wanted to go into medicine, which would be, at least at that time, I'm 68, as of the time we're recording this, which is May 29th, 2026. But go back to, say, 1976. And I was thinking, well, do I want to go into medicine? Do I want to become a doctor? Do I want to become a therapist of some sort? And at the time, the medical profession was mostly interested in, if you're broken, then we can work with you. And I thought, well, that seems silly. Why should we wait until somebody's broken? So instead, I thought, well, maybe I can help them to prevent getting broken and go into the fitness arena. So I did. At the age of 19, I went to work with a company called Holiday Spas, and they gave me amazing training, but it was on top of many, many years of being a coach in swimming and diving and weightlifting, and I was helping other people with that. It certainly was not getting paid for it. Not in the monetary sense, but I was getting paid for it in the experiential sense. So I was learning what to do and how to do it. And that really helped significantly when I finally did move in to the space of actually becoming a professional trainer. So for me, that was a big deal. And on the physical side of it, I always had the genetic predisposition to being very fit, very strong. But today it's not about me, it's more about you. So the question is, where are you in that physical journey? I know there's some of you that may be very sedentary, you don't do much, and therefore you don't want to just jump into a super heavy regimen of something that would make you physically sore or potentially hurt you. So my recommendation is always, number one, check with your doc, make sure that there's nothing that you shouldn't be doing, and get a baseline on where you're at from that standpoint. And then my recommendation is, you can start out very gently. You can start out walking. You can start out biking. Do something that is low impact, just to kind of get your body up and moving, get your cardiovascular system going. And I highly recommend joining a gym. Why? Well, for one thing, it gives you structure and takes money. And my experience is that people who pay for things tend to take it a lot more seriously than somebody who doesn't. So, it's easy to discard something that's completely free. But if you come out of pocket for $50, $60, $70, $80, $90 a month, and then you have that opportunity to be able to get into an environment where there's training, there's all the equipment that you could possibly need. The new gyms these days are quite amazing. And my recommendation is, if you decide to do that and decide to hire a trainer, explain that you're not interested in getting hurt or being quote unquote sweated up, which a lot of gyms do. They take their newbies and they really bust them hard and they put them into an extreme training program. Explain that you're interested in very gradually going from wherever you're at to just a little bit better periodically. Give yourself plenty of time. Don't think that you're going to get in shape in necessarily a day or a week or a month, but that you're going to take the necessary time to allow this to happen. We tend to overestimate what we can do in a day. Hey, let's hit the gym hard. Nope. But we tend to underestimate how much progress we might make in 1 year. So give yourself that type of a longer time scope where you're now going into something that gives you the opportunity to allow your body to adapt. When you're physically trying to change for the better, you have to make a stimulus, so you have to do your workout nice and gentle, nice and easy. I actually designed a training program called Gentle Fitness many, many years ago, and I'll be posting more about that as time goes on. But the important aspect is that it's going to be a very gradual process. And you want to keep your expectations almost non-existent initially, but you do want to keep track of what you're doing. What exercises, how much weight, how many repetitions, and what I do personally for myself is every day when I work out, I write down, or not every day, but I work out about 3 times a week, is I'm writing down the exercise, and there's charts in most gyms, the exercise, how much weight, how many repetitions that I've done, and I keep track of that workout to workout. And what my goal is to do very clean repetitions and then add 1 more repetition the next time I come into the gym. So if I did 6 repetitions or 7 repetitions today, then I would mark down what I did, making sure that I had done perfect. I don't jerk, I don't swing the weights or anything like that. You're going to do things nice and smooth. And then the following workout, and I write it down, I'll go, if I did 7 today, then my next workout, I'll put down 10 pounds and 8 repetitions, 1 set. And then the next time I come into the gym, my workout is already set. I know what exercises I'm going to do. I always start out with a cardiovascular exercise first. I get on the stationary bike, very low as far as impact is concerned. At 68, you can get hurt. And I don't want to get hurt because it takes longer to heal these days. I would like to be able to warm my body up, increase my oxygen flow, and just generally, when they say warm up, that's what I'm doing. I do not stretch as a warm up, because when you stretch a cold muscle, you can create something called micro tears. Don't want to do that. So I get on the bike and I do a very nice, moderate, light workout. And I'm on that workout for about, right now, I just had I had an inadvertent injury. I tripped and fell, and I caught myself with my right leg, and I really pulled my hamstring. Now, I'm glad I didn't fall on my face, so that's a good thing. But it's going to take some time to allow that process, that whole muscular system, to heal. So I've cut my warm-up down to about 10 minutes. That's what I did yesterday. And I'm just going through this very easily. The next time I work out, I may do 11 minutes at the same level. I was doing level 5. Under normal circumstances, pre-injury, I was doing level 8. Many years ago, I used to do an hour at 12. But that's not now. Now, we're doing things very differently. So what we want to do is do that nice cardiovascular warm-up. And how do you know that you're warmed up, by the way? I didn't know that this was going to turn into a fitness video, but it is. It's a topic. I've trained thousands and thousands of people over about, I guess now, 40 years. Not bad. Anyway, you know that you're warmed up when you're sweating lightly, not profusely, you're not exhausted, but you're sweating lightly, that means that your autonomic nervous system has kicked in to try and cool you down. Now, you don't need to be cooled down unless you are warmed up. And then you could progress to your other exercises. Your weightlifting, if you're doing legs or whatever, I recommend working within a range of about 8 to 12 repetitions. And the reason for this is that it's a high enough number of repetitions. If you can't do 8, that means that you're using too much weight. And if you can comfortably do 12 with perfect form after your warm-up on whatever you're doing, whether it's a leg press or a bench press or a shoulder press, or you're doing arm curls or push downs, whatever you're doing, if you can do 12 perfectly, the following workout, you're going to go back to the 8 number. You'll write down, I'm going to do 8. And let's say that today you did 10 pounds. The next time you work out, you're going to try and do, maybe the next level up might be 12 pounds or 12 and a half pounds. If you're using dumbbells or the machine, whatever that next plate level is. And then go back, and the following time you come in, say, and I recommend 2 to 3 times a week, going into the gym after your warm up, and you'll do the weight that you had written down. If you can't do 8, go back to the other workout and work up a few more reps. Maybe you'll go 13 reps. So without this getting too complicated, the purpose here is to very gradually over time increase your repetitions, increase your weight. You can even do this on your warm-up, just like with me. Doing 10 minutes at level 5 for me was great. But I will promise you that when I started, I did just a few minutes at level 1 because I couldn't do a level 0. Anyway, once you have given yourself sufficient time, you're going to be amazed at the difference in your life over time. How much more energy you have, how much more strength you have, how much more comfortable it is to do a variety of different things, whether it's getting up in the morning and moving around. I remember I was training a gentleman in his 90s, and he came to the gym, and he was in a walker, and he could hardly move, and he was just kind of, shuffling along. And after even, I think we had trained him for about a month, and his strength was just dramatically increasing. And after that time, he came to me and he said, "Jack, I did something I never thought I'd be able to do again." I said, "What's that?" And he said, "I was able to comfortably move my couch in my living room." I went, "Well, heck, that's pretty good." But we had been keeping records of his progress over that period of time. It was probably about 2 months over that period of time. And he had increased his strength well over 100% in every single area that he was training in. And his aerobic capacity had improved dramatically as well. So if you take the time to get in, get started, commit yourself, I think joining a gym and paying some money is a really good idea, because then the likelihood of you quitting too soon is diminished. Keep records, start easy, gradually progress. So, and I'll give more details as time goes by on my Gentle Fitness program. The next thing I want to talk about is your mental conditioning, meaning what do you focus on every single day? One of the things that I've taught for many, many years with people, especially somebody struggling with their life purpose or just in general not being so happy, that I call it the focus factor. And what you focus on can make a dramatic difference in the results that you're getting in your life. Because if you're thinking about the worst possible thing that could happen, there's something called the law of attraction. And that simply means that what you're emotionalizing is generally going to manifest in your life over time. Eventually, that's what's going to happen. So, if you can take yourself and think, even for a little time, a few minutes a day, even, about something that is important to you that would be very enjoyable for you, then you can raise what they call your vibration. And you're going to raise that vibration sufficiently, meaning your mood, by concentrating on that thing. Now, I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I went through, I would say, a tough divorce. I'm sure that there's people that have gone through more things than I did. But the concept was I needed something that would put me in a much better mood than I was in. So I made a mental picture of being on my favorite beach, which at the time was Siesta Key Beach in Florida, and my children. My two daughters at the time, Brooke and Danica. Hi, honeys. And I would imagine that I was holding one of my daughters and the other daughter was kind of running around behind me. And their mother, who I was having this big brouhaha with, was sitting in a beach chair reading a book, looking at us with a pleasant look on her face. And I thought, well, that's great. Blue ocean, blue sky, white sand. Well, hard for me not to be feeling pretty good after I'd spent a few minutes in that mental imagery. And I could go there as often as I wanted. Didn't have to buy a plane ticket or anything like that. I was just able to get it done. So the key is find a place for yourself that you can go to. Might be physical, might be a walk to the park. I needed something that I could do without having to go or do anything. So that's what enabled me to be able to get past that very rough time in my life. I'm going to take a break now for a second. I'll be right back. So what you focus on does have a significant effect on how you feel. Meaning you're going to create an emotion by what you focus on. If you're focusing on something that causes you to feel anxious or anxiety, not really if you have a choice, and you do. See, a lot of people I don't think nobody ever said you can control your emotions by what you focus on. That's why I refer to it as the focus factor. And I've heard often, well, your emotions shouldn't be stuffed. And I agree. I would rather change them than stuff them. So this is the fact that we have the ability to be able to control what we focus on. We can think. And you typically have a hard time thinking more than one thing at once. Kind of a common sense concept. So since that is the case, I suggest making a list of things that you find that you're grateful for. You're going to hear that in other videos from other people as well. Gratitude is an amazing tool. So take the time to make a list of things that you're grateful for and think about those things. Put yourself in the place where you're seeing yourself doing it or having it or being it that you're grateful for, and elevate yourself up even for a few minutes a day. I think morning and evening, just before you get out of bed, before the rest of the day has started to take you down its own little rabbit hole, and you have things to do and emails to take and phone calls and all of that stuff. Before you even get out of bed, keep your eyes closed, go through your list of things that you're grateful for. And it's an amazing thing, because then when you get out of bed, you've had a few minutes to you, where you've been able to make a difference in your own life. I think that's an amazing tool. And then just before you close your eyes at night, think about those things that you are most grateful for. Go to sleep with that as your predominant thought and see what a difference that makes. It's made a huge difference in my life, because right now, talking about the mental, and I'm going to combine physical and mental at the same time. As many of you may know, I actually had a stroke back in August 11th of 2025. And I had no idea what the hell was going on. And I certainly could never have imagined how my life would have changed from being extremely physically fit and extremely powerful to having to deal with half of your body basically shutting off. This half over here still has a hard time functioning and moving, but I want to get off of me and back onto you. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, sometimes those physical circumstances, like for me, having the stroke, for you it might be losing a job or a loved one, a relationship that's gone. So that physical aspect of something, maybe you had a heart attack, I don't know. Whatever it is, that can generate a circumstance that occupies much of your time and maybe in rehab. Like for me, a lot of my time is spent rehabbing myself from all of those different activity, or from the what they refer to as deficits. I love that term. You have a deficit on your left side. Well, I'm working to make and to minimize those muscular strength. So I am in the gym, I'm working out and bringing up those quote unquote deficit levels. But if all I ever focused on was what I've lost, then that's going to generate a downward spiral in regard to my own emotions. And then all of a sudden, you're generating exactly what you don't want, which is more of that, whatever that was. Sometimes people will go through a financial loss, and they'll focus on what they don't have, and they end up having less. Exactly what you don't want. If you can focus on what you do have, then you can generate that quote-unquote vibrational frequency in the universe. I'm a big believer that what you focus on and generating emotions in regard to that can move your life dramatically, and I've seen it happen way too many times for me in the positive direction, also the negative. Because if you focus on kind of the crap in your life, guess what? You're going to get more of it. Next thing I want to talk about is the spiritual side. We've kind of blended that in a bit. But this is the third aspect of what makes up, I think, a meaningful life. And you're finding many, many people, and it might piss off a few people right now, but many people are leaving quote unquote normal religions. And it's because they've got so many damn rules. And it's not that they're bad. It's just that it's such a controlling thing. And I'd like to put you back in control. So, in my opinion, just mine, your intuition can tell you a lot about where you should be and what you should be focusing on. So from the spiritual side of things, I think it's a really good idea to, and this is what I do personally, to listen to your intuition about what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. For me, I have a simple question I ask every day. Who can I help and how can I help them? That's what motivates me and In Search of Purpose today. My purpose is find out who I can help and how I can help them. Now, yours, whatever you're focusing on and whatever your spiritual intuition is telling you, I strongly recommend listening. You might even want to write it down, because often you'll get a flash of insight and then it's gone. So I'd like you to write that down just anywhere, because as they say, the palest ink is better than the best memory. And if you can listen to your own intuition about what's right for you, it might be very different than what's right for me or somebody else, and we really are not concerned about that at the moment. The only person truly that you can control is you. The only person that you should even focus on controlling is you. So, by taking control of the physical, by getting yourself physically active, whether it's taking a stroll, taking a bike ride, going for a swim, or joining a gym, you can improve yourself by taking it gradually over time. Number two is your mental conditioning. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on things that actually just bring you down? Oh, I don't have any money. Well, guess what? You're about to have less. Think about what you do have. You know, if you have $1, hey, I got $1. I got $1, yay! And celebrate what you have. Amazingly, you can multiply that as well. From a spiritual standpoint, what it is, and I mean, if you're heavily involved in a religious activity with a certain group and it brings you joy and support and happiness, I'm all for it. That's awesome. However, if what really you need to be doing is taking your own focus and your own advice about where you want to be spiritually, in my opinion, that our Creator has given us all the necessary tools to have an amazing life. Even in the circumstances right now that I'm dealing with the stroke and the stroke recovery, I have to focus on that which I have, not which I don't have. So I'm still strong as a bull on that right side, and I can lift things, and I can move things, and I can do things. And I see progress with my articulation, and I celebrate that. And on the fact that I can still shoot a video and look you in the eye and say, life is good, there's amazing things to do. These are the things that give my life purpose and joy. For you, I hope that you take the time to work on your physical, work on your mental, what you're focusing on, and work on your spiritual. What's coming to you in regard to your intuition. There's even courses that are being taught in colleges now about how to follow your intuition. Well, guess what? Here's another one. So follow your intuition. Remember that you are dearly loved and you have the opportunity to make of life whatever it is that you wish to make of life. You can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven, depending on how one looks at it. In my opinion, can be a beautiful thing, a heaven made out of circumstances. I asked a question many years ago, and I'll bring this up before. I wondered, because the name of the channel is In Search of Purpose Today, and I thought, what is the purpose of life, of living a life? I mean, I'm 68. There's a lot of people that make it to 100 plus. There's other people that check out early. But what is the purpose of life? And I did get an answer almost immediately, is what I was reaching for. And it was learning to love in the face of adversity. Well, whether it's a stroke, a heart attack, a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, whatever it is, that could be the adversity that gives you the impetus to be able to improve your life, make your life more in keeping with what it is that you want. So take those external circumstances and appreciate that that's all it was. It was an internal input. It's not what happens. It is what you choose to do with what happens. Anyway, I'm Jack with the In Search of Purpose Today channel. And if you've gotten some benefit from what I've shared with you today, and I certainly hope you have, hit that like button. Subscribe if it feels right to you, because there's going to be more content like this, and share it with your friends. Somebody may need this little bit of a bump in their attitude to be able to go on. It's been amazing to me that some of the comments that I get are, this is exactly what I needed. Well, I'm glad. Is this the only place you could get it? Well, in my opinion, there's lots of different people that are helping you with a variety of these things. All of them that I've talked about today, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. And I do hope that you follow those paths in your intuition to being able to get more information. If you have an idea about this, share it in the comments. I'd be happy to respond. Have a blessed day. Love you all. And we'll see you on the next one.